Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how are you?
I am tired today.
Tired? Why are you tired?
I just didn't sleep very well last night. I don't know.
Well, maybe you need to get a little more sleep.
I went to bed before you.
I know you did. I believe what you meant is you passed out. Were you drinking wine? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, it snuck up on you. I didn't know that. Coming up here in a bit, we've got a guest. Going to be visiting with Brian Hastings from BabyBit. And this is a different kind of baby monitor. I'm excited to chat with him because I got to find out what this is all about. Now take a listen to this. The Dutch airline KLM was fined $14,340 for an incident where 440 Chinese ground squirrels heading to Greece had to go through a shredder. They destroyed them.
What?
They didn't have the proper European health papers, so they killed 440 ground squirrels, ran them through a shredder.
No way.
Yes, this happened in 1999.
No way. Who's gonna shred a ground squirrel?
No, 440 of them. I'm not kidding.
There's no possible
This happened.
way.
Dutch airline was fined $14,340.
Goodness
for that.
gracious.
I got another story about squirrels. British politicians are being urged to eat squirrels as part of a radical plan to prevent their native red squirrels from being eliminated by these gray imports from North America. So they're actually telling people you should eat squirrel.
Wow.
Because we're trying to keep our own squirrels safe. So this is a squirrely day, isn't it?
I guess so.
Fun stuff going on today. We'll tell you all about it in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Thursday, July the 28th. Today is Buffalo Soldiers Day. It is also Lumberjack Day, which I can't think of lumberjacks without thinking of
The Monty Python song?
I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I'll just stop right there. It's also National Chili Dog Day. I'm going to celebrate that.
I don't like chili dogs.
Oh, man, I love chili dogs. It is National Milk Chocolate Day today.
I
celebrate
do like milk chocolate.
I'll celebrate that, too. National Refreshment Day. I'm also going to celebrate that. And I do not plan to celebrate World Hepatitis Day. I think I'll sit that one out. Anyway, celebrate today by having a chili dog and some milk chocolate and a refreshment with a lumberjack. If you can do all of that,
wow,
you are the winner. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
Whether you're an experienced shooter or someone new to self-defense, Front Sight Firearms Training Institute has a course for you. You may recognize Front Sight from their reality TV show filmed at this private range 45 minutes west of Las Vegas. A Diamond Lifetime membership is $15,000, but we have a special price of just $3,000 available now only at radiosavings.com. This lifetime membership allows you to take over 50 courses as often as you'd like at Front Sight Firearms Training Institute. Get this deal right now at radiosavings.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Where do you think it would actually be appropriate for your wife to be minimum weight and to be weighed in when you get there? Well, here's where it is. It's a thing in Finland.
It's a restaurant.
No,
Oh.
It's in Finland. It is required that if you want to compete in the World Annual Wife Carrying Championship, the Finnish village of Sokenjärvi, I probably said nothing close to what it's really pronounced like. They set a minimum weight for women taking part in the annual World Wife Carrying Championship. They did that to stop men with petite spouses from having an advantage.
Yeah, I could see that.
You have no idea what this is all about, then you need to listen up here. There's no reason you should, because who pays attention to this kind of thing? This is a championship where men put their women on their backs and they have to go through an obstacle course. And now they have a minimum weight for wives, and you're never going to believe what the minimum weight is, Heidi.
What is it?
What do you think it would be?
I have no idea. 100 pounds.
No, 92.5 pounds.
Okay.
What a random number for somebody to pick. Why would you pick that?
I don't know.
Why not say 100 pounds? Why not say 90 pounds? Why not say 95 pounds?
But I think they weigh in stones, don't
Doesn't
they?
matter. It's 92.5 pounds.
Okay, but maybe in their weight system, it's an even number.
Oh, I see what
You know
you're
what I
saying.
mean?
So it just doesn't calculate
Right.
to our standard system.
Right.
Have you ever noticed that standard is only us and nobody else? Is it metric? No, it's standard. Wait a minute. You mean The one the rest of the world doesn't use? How is that standard? That's just what we call it. It still makes no sense. Anyway, 92.5 pounds is the minimum. She can weigh as much as she wants. So there's no maximum. So anybody with any wife could carry them through, but they were having troubles because men were, purposely marrying petite women, apparently.
Just so they could win this.
Just
I
so
don't
they could
think
carry
so.
them through this obstacle course and have an advantage. And it's just not fair. Those Finnish
I know
folks
she's not
figured
very
it out.
pretty, but she only weighs 87 pounds.
This happens in Finland, where when they cross the finish line, it's the finish line and the finish line. All right, that didn't quite work out. Anyway, it's true, though, because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. An 18-year-old suspected of delivering drug-laced cookies to dozens of police stations in Texas is fulfilling court-ordered community service work for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Christian Phillips told police he was representing MADD when he dropped off the baskets of treats that were loaded with LSD.
Oh, my God.
A few of the officers ate the cookies, but no illnesses have been reported. He was arrested Tuesday at the Lake Worth Police Department after officers who had received a call from MADD saying that the cookies taken to another station may have been tainted. They accepted the basket and tested, and he was busted. Police discovered Phillips had visited 13 of the 24 departments that he was going to go to. Ironically, he was on probation for an assault from last summer after officers responded to a loud party at a house. Several teens fled, but Phillips tried to karate chop an officer's arm. So the officer was trying to arrest him, and he karate chopped him, and that didn't work out so hot. He still got cuffed and stuffed, so... Anyway, kids, don't do that kind of stuff. That's what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
We've got a moment of duh that would make Corporal Klinger happy. You ever watch MASH?
Not really.
Oh,
My
when I was a
grandfather
kid,
did.
My dad loved that, so we watched it all the time. And it was funny because Corporal Klinger was trying to get out, trying to claim he was crazy, so he was always cross-dressing and doing all kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, I know who we're talking about.
Well, the doctor rubbed sour cream in his hair, poured sticky liqueur in his shoes, spilled beer on his clothes, and then sat in a closet smoking 40 cigarettes at once in an attempt to convince military that he was not mentally fit for service. Just to be sure that he looked and felt his worst, he stayed awake for 2 days before his physical as well. He was so convincing that the military doctor alerted the National Health Authority about the man that they had licensed to work as a physician. An analysis of his records, however, showed that not only was he not insane, but he had received high marks from his patients. Now the doctor is facing likely disciplinary action from the military and the medical board for pretending to be crazy.
Huh.
How do they know he didn't really go crazy? Just because he was, one of the best doctors in the unit at one point doesn't mean that he couldn't have had something happen. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not sure how you check into those kind of things. Coming up, we've got hackers in the news. We'll tell you all about that in a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your Scoop of the Day. I got a story about hackers, and it's not the ones that Heidi thinks, because I see her smiling over there. No, there was
I'm just chomping at the bit to
I will
talk
say
about this.
I know you want to, but we made a solemn vow to not go down the political path during our regular program here, so we're not going to do that. But I will tell you this. This is a story about hackers who hacked into a southern New Jersey roadway sign. You know the signs above?
Oh, yeah.
And they put on the word poop.
If you're going to go to all that work, that's the most clever thing you can come up with.
Probably a 12-year-old, and that's the only swear words he knew. By the way, poop is probably the least offensive thing ever heard on a New Jersey roadway, so it's probably not a big deal. Hey, less than one half of Americans who receive jury duty notices actually show up. Wait a minute, that's an option? You could just not go?
You better go.
I didn't think that was an option. A study of rock artists, like rock and roll singers, find that they are 2 or 3 times more likely to suffer a premature death than people that are just regular members of the population. According to the study, rock stars are disproportionately at risk of drug and alcohol-related deaths. Mm-hmm. So they're saying it has nothing to do with the traveling.
They really needed to do a study.
Yeah, apparently they had. Government-funded, too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
A thrill-seeking couple was not afraid to take a leap and dive right into their vows after having their first official date at Carowinds Amusement Park in North Carolina last year. Newlyweds James and Courtney Music decided the perfect place to say I do was atop their all-time favorite ride, the Fury 325 roller coaster. This outlandish idea turned into a reality July the 14th, and the lovebirds took the plunge into matrimony in the front row of Fury 325 right alongside a minister. They made sure they didn't have a fear of heights. The minister didn't have a fear of heights, and he was fine. The bride said there were a lot of safety issues we had to work around. Dresses couldn't be too long, no veil, had to do away with bouquets. It took several weeks to find the perfect dress. I probably went to 100 stores before I found the one that I liked and would be appropriate for the ride. But they got married in the front of a roller coaster. And I wonder if the rest of the roller coaster then was like their wedding party, I'm assuming.
That's ridiculous.
If you're into that kind of thing, that would be really, really cool. I could see some really cool wedding photos coming from that.
How are you going to get the photos?
Well, you'd have another person strapped in somewhere with a camera.
Behind you, so you'd only see the back of your head if you're in the front row.
Oh, they could rig up some sort of GoPro in front of them or something. I don't know. Or they'd all have to smile just when they go by that one camera. You know, everybody smile. There's our wedding photo.
Whatever. To each his own, I guess.
There you go. Hey, with Thunder Summer... What? Let me try that again. Hey, let's try that again. With the Thunder... I did it wrong again. With the summer thunderstorm season now underway, a study finds that 81% of lightning strikes happen to men. I have a theory as to why this is.
Because they're not smart enough to come in out of the rain.
Because the women are smart enough to go inside during the thunderstorms. 81% of the thunder strikes happen to men. Guys.
And the ones that happen to women are them coming outside trying to get their husbands to come in.
Would you please get inside? According to Elle magazine, plastic surgeons are seeing an increase in a thing called hand lifts. You know what that is?
Yes, we've talked about this.
It's a trend that reports that many people get their hands tightened up, and it usually happens right before an engagement photo because they're going to have their hand with their ring.
But usually when you're getting engaged, you're young and your
Not
hands
always.
are nice and firm
There's
anyway.
a lot of people that are older that are getting married. With over 2/3 of Americans and more than half of Canadians overweight, makers of bathroom scales are trying to ratchet up the height end of their scale capacity. The limit for many years, the standard was anywhere from 270 to 300 pounds. Health-O-Meter has introduced a scale with a top limit 330 to 400 pounds. A spokesperson says 400 seems to be a reasonable number. But if consumers need a higher capacity, we have the technology to do it.
Wow.
Wait a minute. 400 seems to be a reasonable number? No. It's not a reasonable number. And I'll tell you, I many times I've stepped on the scale, and it's towards the top of the limit. I'm a big guy, but that's not reasonable. I shouldn't be. It's my fault. I'm not blaming anybody but me. But yeah, they're making scales now that'll go up to 400 pounds. And I don't need one of those. And I don't ever want to get to a point where I need one of those. That's not a good plan. All right. Thanks for listening to the Scoop of the Day. This has been quite an election so far, and we've got a long ways to go. Stay informed at PoliticalStorm.com. It's a cool site with political news and information on the campaigns, plus a place to chime in and have a say in what you think. If you're into politics, you need to check out PoliticalStorm.com. Get informed from several different sources all in one place. Listen to podcasts like mine and learn about current election topics, read fun editorials, and engage your brain. It's your country. It's your vote. It's your voice. PoliticalStorm.com. That's PoliticalStorm.com. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We got a special guest joining us right now, Brian Ostrovsky, and he is with BabyBit. And if you've not heard of that before, hopefully you'll be hearing about it here in the future because it's really cool technology that could literally save the lives of babies. First of all, let's say hello to Brian. How are you, sir?
Well, how are you today?
Fantastic. It's been fun to kind of chat with you a little bit before the interview here to learn a little more about BabyBit. And everything you were telling me, I was like, wow, that's really cool and awesome technology. First of all, let's explain to people what BabyBit is and how this works.
So BabyBit is a little different type of baby monitor that's focused on helping working parents keep track of what's going on with their baby when they can't be with them. We learned that 1 in 4 moms, that's 1 million moms a year, go back to work within 2 weeks of giving birth. And we wanted to give them a better tool so that they could keep track of what's going on when they have to be away.
And this is different than most baby monitors on the market, because usually a baby monitor is either an audio or video thing where you're like listening and it's sitting in the same room as the kid, or you're watching and you can maybe log in even with some of those from a distance and watch. But this is something that goes with the child. How does that work?
Well, there's also sensor-based monitors also, but you hit the primary point, which is that they typically don't work when the baby leaves home. And the idea here is because we're using a completely mobile model, connecting the caregiver's mobile phone and delivering information to the parent's mobile phone, it works no matter where the baby is and no matter where in the world the parents are.
And this is something that's kind of a wearable device that is attached to the baby. Let's talk about how that works. I like the way you explain it.
The sensor clips onto the baby's onesie or T-shirt or whatever the baby's wearing, and since it goes to her chest, I call it Iron Man style.
I love that. And there's even an element to BabyBit that could save the child's life. I really like this partnership you guys have with Land Rover and Jaguar. Let's talk about that.
The way it works, as I was explaining, it connects to the caregiver's phone and as a result sends information to the parent's phone, especially notifications that they've set. As a result of BabyBit knowing who it's connected to and telling our cloud application who it's connected to, we know when nobody's connected to it. And as a result, our own application can tell parents, hey, the caregiver's no longer connected. You might want to give a call and find out what's going on. About 7-8 months ago, Jaguar Land Rover made an investment in BabyBit as part of their incubation program here in Portland, Oregon. And we worked together with their engineers to develop a Range Rover application that works with the Range Rovers here in the lab, which knows when a caregiver is no longer connected to the baby and the baby is in the Range Rover with no caregiver. And as a result, the Range Rover can connect to the BabyBit, turn on the HVAC system, keep the baby comfortable, and send notifications to the parent saying the baby's in the Range Rover, here's the location of the Range Rover, here's the temperature inside the Range Rover. And it'll continue to send notifications every couple of minutes, keeping track of the temperature. And then one of a few things can happen. Somebody can come back to the vehicle, and the Range Rover will automatically release the BabyBit back to the caregiver, or the parent can then go rescue the baby if that's necessary, and when they get there, unlock the car, obviously, and retrieve the baby. And if nobody gets to the baby in a reasonable period of time, or the temperature of the vehicle gets either too hot or too cold, the Range Rover can then call the police, give them the location of the vehicle, the license tag number of the vehicle, description of the vehicle, the temperature in the car, and tell them there's a baby in the car, please come help.
Isn't that amazing? It's like, Brian, we're in the future.
Well, we talk about the smart home and the smart vehicle, et cetera, but this is what it should be like.
And this is an application that could save the lives of babies, because we hear about it in the news where somebody forgets the child was in the back seat. Maybe the kid fell asleep on the way to daycare or whatever, and you just forgot about him somehow. This is a way for your baby monitor that the child has, this BabyBit, to notify you so that it doesn't become a detrimental issue. You know, it would still make you feel like an idiot. You're like, oh man, I forgot my kid in the car. What happened? But wouldn't you feel like a genius for having the technology to be able to stop this before it became a huge problem?
Exactly.
So now, the BabyBit technology, is this available right now? Can people buy this now, or this is kind of in development now?
So we have an Indiegogo campaign going on right now, and if you go to Indiegogo.com and look up BabyBit, you can take a look and back us if you like. We expect to be able to deliver to the market in the late fall, winter timeframe to the general public through hopefully regular retail channels. So
if you know somebody that is expecting a child right now, this could be a thing that would be delivered about the same time as the baby itself. And I think it's really cool technology, and I'm glad you guys reached out, because this is something that's just fascinating to me. It seems, like I said before, like we're living in the future, and with things like this that are available, it could absolutely save lives. So thank you for doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you, and thanks for your time.
Again, Brian right there from BabyBit, and their website is babybittech.com. That's babybittech.com, and they've got that Indiegogo campaign going on right now. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Do you buy lottery tickets? Maybe you wait till the jackpot is big, then you buy one. I was like that too. Like my odds got better because the jackpot was more. Well, I think I found something that actually will give me a better chance to win. It's called Lotto-licious. I learned about this from Richard Lustig. He literally wrote the book on how to win the lottery, and he should know. He's a 7-time lottery game grand prize winner. Richard plays and endorses Lotto-licious, and I just signed up too. I'd love it if you join Richard and I. You can play Powerball and Mega Millions without even going to the store. Sign up right now at RadioLottopool.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Mark Twain, Sam Clemens, we talked about him the other day because he smoked 40 cigars a day.
Yes.
Another story here about him. He was born on a day when Halley's Comet came into view, and he died on a day that it came into view as well.
Oh, weird.
So they shouldn't call it Halley's Comet anymore. They should call it Mark Twain's Comet.
Okay.
Yeah, he was born and died on the day that came into view, and it's like 80 years apart or something, isn't it? Kind of crazy. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The first movie with audible dialogue is The Jazz Singer from 1927. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
The Jazz Singer?
Yeah, not the one with Neil Diamond.
I was going to say, that wasn't from 1927.
This is a different jazz singer.
Ah, okay.
The Lone Ranger's real name is John Reed. Yeah, now you know.
Okay.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
How long do you suppose the longest Oscar speech in history was?
10 minutes.
No, an hour.
Oh, good Lord.
Nowadays, they start music and
That's
make
why
you
they
leave.
play the music.
It was in 1924 when Greer Carson accepted for Mrs. Miniver. And I think that's the next year they said, we need to come up with a better plan. The official state song of Georgia is Georgia on My Mind. Has been since 1922. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The professor on Gilligan's Island was Roy Hinckley. Skipper was Jonas Grunby. Both names were only used one time on the very first episode, and you never heard them again.
Oh.
So if you missed the first episode, you missed them both. A couple of fun facts for you right there on a Thursday.
Whether you're an experienced shooter or someone new to self-defense, Front Sight Firearms Training Institute has a course for you. You may recognize Front Sight from their reality TV show filmed at this private range 45 minutes west of Las Vegas. A Diamond lifetime membership is $15,000, but we have a special price of just $3,000 available now only at radiosavings.com. This lifetime membership allows you to take over 50 courses as often as you'd like at Front Sight Firearms Training Institute. Get this deal right now at radiosavings.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. This is a program where my beautiful wife and I get to sit here and each day have a little commentary and talk about all kinds of fun stuff, things that we want to talk about. Okay, usually it's things that I want to talk about. But I have today some easy tips, Heidi.
Okay.
Some things that you can do. If you want to heat up leftover pizza, instead of throwing it in the microwave, if you want it to be the very best with no soggy bottom, they say heat up leftover pizza in a nonstick skillet on top of the stove, and then set the heat to medium and heat it until it's warm. Then the crust will stay crispy. I've never done that before. That sounds like a good idea.
But will it
Yeah, it heats
be
all
warm
the way
all
up.
the way through?
You put a lid on the pan, I'm assuming. That's how I would do it. I don't know. It doesn't say.
I would think then it would get soggy.
I don't know.
Lid, because the lid would hold in moisture.
But it wouldn't be as soggy as the microwave.
I don't know. Yeah. We're putting way too much thought
Hey,
into
if
this.
you're trying to get rid of weeds, start putting newspapers. Says wet newspapers, put layers around the plants, overlapping. You get as much as you want, and then you cover it with mulch, and no more weeds. They can't make it through the wet newspaper.
Actually, that's not entirely. We've tried that.
Have we
didn't
tried
work.
it?
Yes.
Oh.
That didn't work.
If you're trying to get rid of mosquitoes, place a dryer sheet in your pocket. It'll keep the mosquitoes away, and it'll also keep all prospective dates away as well.
Why? Dryer sheets smell
The
good.
dude's walking around with a bounce thing hanging
You
out of
wouldn't
his...
be able to see it. You don't put it in like a hanky where it's hanging
I
out.
don't know. Oh, yeah, that'd be cute. They should make little bounce pocket squares. That's a good idea, Heidi. Measuring cups. Before you pour sticky substances into a measuring cup, fill it with hot water. Dump out the hot water, but don't dry the cup. Then add the ingredients like peanut butter or whatever, and see how much easier it is for things to come out. They
That's
say
a
it
good
comes
idea.
out a whole lot easier. You ever get foggy windows? Yeah. If you get a foggy windshield, they say have a chalkboard eraser, keep it in your glove compartment, and when the windows fog up, use the eraser. It works even better than a cloth, according to this. And our final little tip for you here, if you're trying to get rid of ants, put small piles of cornmeal where you see ants. They take it home. They can't digest it, so it kills them. Aww. It may take a week or so, especially if it rains.
It might take a week or so.
This is a terrible tip. You don't have to worry about pets or children being harmed either, because cornmeal doesn't hurt dogs, but ant poison does. So they're saying this is a lot safer. It'll only kill them. So there you go.
But it takes a week.
Apparently it takes a while for this poor little ant. He's down there suffering, but you're going, hey, I got no more ant problem. These tips and many more available right now on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
Hey, this is Tim from Hope and Faith Machine Works. Are you having one of these days?
How in the world am I going to do that?
Or even,
if I could just have this, my life would be so much easier.
Well, this kind of stuff is my specialty. At Hope and Faith Machine Works, we work with anyone who needs something built, fabricated, or just done right. We've done medical, industrial, PLC, and prototype designs. You can reach us at yourhopeourfaith.com. That's yourhopeourfaith.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Keep yourself clean. That's a good idea, right?
Of course.
But you have to be careful how you keep yourself clean. 38-year-old bakery worker in Hudsonville, Michigan, was just doing his job one evening in the Spartan Stores bakery when he climbed into an industrial dishwasher to clean it out. This happened at 10:30 p.m. The machine, which is about 8 feet long and 5 feet wide, closed the door on him and started to wash.
Oh my gosh.
He banged on the door but couldn't find couldn't get anybody's attention. Finally, he was in there for 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
180-degree wash cycle until they finally noticed, where in the heck is he? He was released from the local hospital after a couple hours of observation. He was in there for a couple hours at a 180-degree wash cycle.
Whoa.
So, yeah, you want to stay clean, but not like that. They should have some sort of safety release from the inside.
Oh, of course. They know that now.
Never really felt anybody climb inside here to clean it. But I'm assuming that's how you clean it. But you'd think you'd put a hose or something through the door so it wouldn't latch all the way.
That's
I don't know
crazy.
what he was doing. It's just a bad plan. Anyway, there you go. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This is an interesting story. An army of 176 volunteer odor police are pounding the streets of a French Mediterranean port in Marseille. Is that how you say that? Whatever.
Okay.
It's part of a crackdown on the smell pollution. A newspaper report says the group was deployed by the air analysis firm Aeromerix. I can't say any of these names. It's French. The volunteer noses were required to record what they smell on a daily basis, ranging from pleasant scents to irritating scents to nauseating scents. So far, the team has identified whiffs of rotten eggs and burnt plastic on the outskirts of the city and a rancid mixture of refuse, petrol fumes, drains, fish, tobacco, soap, even marijuana in the center of the city. So they're finding all kinds of interesting stuff. So they're the odor police.
What is the point of
They're
this?
trying to figure out, because there are people that say, well, I've been to your town. Yeah, it really stinks there. So they got this group, 176 volunteers, to figure out, why do we stink?
Okay.
Let's figure out why we stink and try to fix it. So at least they're trying. That's a good idea. There's some places that just stink and nobody cares. They at least care. All right. Coming up, we're going to talk about bottled water. That's on the way.
John and Heidi.
This has been quite an election so far, and we've got a long ways to go. Stay informed at politicalstorm.com. It's a cool site with political news and information on the campaigns, plus a place to chime in and have a say in what you think. If you're into politics, you need to check out politicalstorm.com. Get informed from several different sources all in one place. Listen to podcasts like mine and learn about current election topics, read fun editorials, and engage your brain. It's your country. It's your vote. It's your voice. Politicalstorm.com. That's politicalstorm.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. I got to tell you, before I even get to this story, I drink bottled water. But
Sometimes.
I have a story about bottled water. Consumers spend collectively $100 billion a year on bottled water.
That is crazy.
The biggest mistaken belief is that bottled water somehow is safer or healthier than the water you get out of your tap. Well, they're saying that's not true.
You know what? I think it might be safer than the water we get out of our tap.
No. According to
It
environmental...
certainly tastes better.
Yeah, we need to have like a water filtration something. According to environmental think tank Earth Policy Institute, for a fraction of the money we spend on bottled water, every single person on the planet could have safe drinking water and proper sanitation. Although in the industrial world, bottled water is often no healthier than tap water, it can still cost up to 10,000 times more. Yeah. In fact, about 40% of bottled water is tap water. And then they throw some minerals in there that really have no marked health benefits whatsoever. Here's something to make you think. In many countries, including Europe and the United States, there are more regulations governing your tap water than they have on bottled water. Let me explain. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, they set more stringent quality standards for your tap water than the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, does for bottled water. So they're saying, according to the story, think before you drink. Here's the one thing I'm going to say. I drink bottled water quite often when we're traveling because I don't have my tap water with me. I don't bring a sink along everywhere I go. So if you were, a smart person, what you would do is just fill up some sort of container with your tap water and bring that with you everywhere you go. I used to do that. And then my wife over here told me, I read a story about how unsanitary and unsafe that is, and something about the plastic leaching into the water. And
if you leave it in a hot car, you're not supposed to drink out of that same bottle.
So anyway, now I just spend 10,000 times more for the convenience of having the one that's, sitting inside the convenience store. So got that going for me, which is nice. Coming up, we have some good news. That is on the way. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show. This portion of The John and Heidi Show is brought to you by The John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying The John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think this is pretty good news. Andy Audette found a roll of blue tape in his garage, and he turned a strip of it into a thin blue line across the back windshield of his truck.
Oh.
He shared this idea on a Facebook page in Maple Valley, that's where he lives, thinking maybe some neighbors could join in. According to the Good News Network, since this simple gesture, based on a 1960s documentary film, The Thin Blue Line, about the struggles that officers have to face every single day, this movement is gaining worldwide attention. Audette said, when I started getting pictures from Tennessee and Florida and Hawaii and Australia, that's when I got pretty excited. But this whole thing just started out with a guy because he had some blue tape and he stuck it across his back window and said,
that's a fantastic idea.
We should
do that on our car.
We should too. We actually have some blue tape. We have like blue paint. Do you think it'd be blue painter's tape? Would that work, or would that come off?
I would assume it's electrical tape.
Oh, I think we have some of that too.
There you go.
I have a lot of tape. I don't know why I have so much tape, but like anytime something's need to be taped, I'm like, I got tape. I got that. I got you covered. I got Gorilla Tape. I got duct tape. I got this tape, that tape. What kind of tape do you need? Masking tape? Yeah, I don't have any of that.
Yeah, we currently have a sprinkler system that's taped together.
I don't know what happened, but I fixed it with some tape. Anyway, this guy came up with a great idea, and it's a way for people to show their support for the officers all around our country. And if you have some blue tape, I encourage you to do that too.
That's
I think
a
it's a
great
neat
idea.
I have a link to this story if you'd like to maybe read along and check it out on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.